Thanks for your support as a channel member, Dave Hill. On today's episode, we do something that some of you have been asking for quite a long time now. We're going back to King's Lynn. If that isn't worth a thumbs up, I don't know what is. Let's see if we can get to 2,000 to celebrate our return to Norfolk. Hello and welcome to Club 3, Part 7 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have a League Cup third round tie away against King's Lynn. You didn't think I was going back to manage them, surely. And also we're away against Fulham in the Championship. Since you were last with me, form has been hideous. I mean, we did manage to knock Wigan out of the League Cup, but we've had 3 consecutive defeats in the league. It has been a pretty miserable start to the season. We're down in 18th place after 5 games. Fraser Hornby is top scorer in the division, which is a positive, but we really need to sort our lives out and start moving up this league table sooner rather than later. But before that, obviously, we need to go back to King's Lynn. And it's going to be a very interesting trip because it's a club that hasn't changed a huge amount since I left. If we have a look at their transfer history, you can see no players left this summer just gone. No players left the summer before. And they were transfers I did. Are they transfers? Yeah, that's the summer that I did. If we have a look at... No, not senior squad. If we have a look at released players over the same period of time, they were the ones I did. No players released last year. This year, they did release Watkins, Kenyon and Smith. So we're not going to get to see Jake Kenyon again, unfortunately, which is very sad because I always thought he was a lovely, lovely player. But clearly, Jim Gannon, who's come in to replace me there, disagrees. But King's Lynn currently find themselves top of League 2. What a ridiculous situation we're in here with King's Lynn. They're top of League 2. They're going to fancy their chances against us today because they're at home, they're in great form, we're in terrible form. And if we look at the team they played in their last match, a lot of these players are players that I signed for the club. Norton, Hardy, Parsons, Payne, Bernard, Odemeo, Grimshaw. The core of my team is still there. I'm worried. Especially because they're going to be absolutely desperate to beat us. And this is the team we're putting out there to try and beat them. It's pretty much our first team. The one difference is Brivio's going to start up front instead of Hornby. He's actually started a league game for us as well and scored within like 3 minutes of the league game he started. It was the one against Middlesbrough. Started, scored almost immediately. We still went on to lose that game. But I thought with Brivio being a former Norwich man, he might have some motivation to go and beat King's Lynn. But actually, looking at that now, he was at Norwich very briefly and never played a game for them. I thought he'd come through their youth team and might know the likes of Alfie Payne and Connor Parsons, but seems like he probably doesn't. But we're going to play him anyway. This is the side. Hilson in goal. A back four of Burke, Stevens, Diaby and Williams. McGeehan and Rimanota in midfield. Chapman, Slattery and Brown supporting Brivio up front. Chong has been injured. You can see he is back up on the bench now. But even before his injury, he was in horrific form. I'm tempted to move him on in January if he doesn't sort his life out because his start to this season has been awful. We've had one of those media reports talking about how he's struggling to adjust to life at Barnsley. So clearly he's, despite starting quite well for us, his form has been awful for quite a long time now. And obviously if Brown's going to stick around, Brown's no longer wanted by anybody. Chong is. If we could get £10 million for Chong, that's a huge profit on him. And then we can focus on rebuilding that left-hand side properly. Probably a player maybe we didn't need when we brought him in. But let's not start second-guessing ourselves just off the back of a few defeats. If we can go to League 2 opposition today and pick up a victory, it can set everything right again for us. Obviously, if we go here and lose, it is a bit of a problem. And there is Alfie Payne in central midfield with the captain's armband on. Like I say, it is the core of my team. All 4 of them plus the goalkeeper were mine. Lavinia was mine. And Norton, obviously, was mine as well, although he never actually broke into the team while I was there. Right, we need to step up our game and end our recent run of bad results. I think that is the most appropriate team talk we could do in the circumstances. I also fully acknowledge there's going to be an awful lot of you down in the comments section probably cheering Kings Lynn on in this game. It is bizarre to have so many of my players still in their team so long after I left. And for those of you who are watching the Bourne series as well, James Clark and Archie Davis are both still in the squad for Kings Lynn. They're players that I've got in my Bourne squad. So I speculated whether they were the same players. They definitely are, because I checked them when I was looking through this Kings Lynn team. First highlight of the game then, and it is thankfully in their half, and hopefully we can apply a little bit of pressure, win the ball back and go and hit them on the counter-attack here. We have dominated play so far. We're kind of doing to them what we always used to do to everyone else when I was at Kings Lynn. Huge dominant possession. And there is James Brivio with a goal. That's what you pay £1.8 million for. It's Kings Lynn 0, Barnsley 1. It feels wrong to be celebrating. I think in reality I probably wouldn't be, but deep down inside, forget public persona, Kev. Deep down, goodness me, do I need a win here, because we need to address the terrible form that we've been in. We need a victory. We need a confidence booster. We need to take it on into that league game we've got coming up as well. And there's Jacob Brown with his first goal of the season. We've certainly missed his goals at the start of this year, and it's good to see him get up and running as well. We've very much relied on Hornby for goals so far this season. Like I say, he is the top scorer in the Championship at the moment, but 3 of the 4 goals he scored were in that one game that you saw him score them in, and he's kind of, although still riding off the back of that on the goal scoring chart, he has hit a little bit of a dry spell of his own. And with Chong either out of form or out of the team, we have been struggling for goals. So it's good to see Brivio and Brown step up today and start to make a bit of a goal scoring contribution. Right, halftime team talk. Just don't mess up from here, lads. If we could grab a couple more and then have Alfie Payne score a screamer of a free kick, I think we all go home happy, don't we? But we do need a couple of more goals before then. Slattery with the corner, looking for Brivio. It falls to Diaby. Diaby back to McGeehan, back to Diaby again. He's not really the man we want with the ball, but then neither is Williams in that situation, although he plays it out nicely to Chapman, who crosses in, looking for Brown. Brown heads just over. Have I got Chapman as an inside forward? I have. Good. I had started playing Chong as a winger on that side just to try and get some performances out of him, because obviously he is a left footer. And he did start well as an inside forward for us on that side. But these days, I play him more as a winger there. I was just making sure I hadn't left Chapman as a winger, because we know how good Chapman can be as an inside forward. McGeehan can't quite get the breakthrough. And here is Norton, the man who I signed but never gave a breakthrough to at Kings Lynn, and he hits just wide. I guess the really fun thing is, with Chapman on the pitch, we have got representatives from all 3 of the clubs I've managed so far on the pitch today, which is lovely. There is Chapman nodding it down to Brivio, who can't quite get it under control. McAneff still in the team for Kings Lynn. He's come off the bench for them today. I mean, we signed him down in the National League North. It shows how good those signings we made for Kings Lynn back at the start were, that they've not really had to add very much to this team to turn it into a team that's now pushing for promotion up to League One with the same squad of players. It would have been a beautiful road to glory. It was set up brilliantly for it. In another world, I'm still managing them, and we're all having a lovely time. Right, substitution-wise, Rimanotta, as usual, going to come off. We're also going to take off Chapman and bring on Chong as a winger. Still on attack, but if there's going to be a game where Chong can start getting some form back, surely he should be able to stick Lavinia on a yellow card in his pocket and go on and score a goal or two. That's what we've got to be looking for. There is McGeehan, again from a set piece, but it's what we're good at. And it doesn't necessarily tell the entire story. We've dominated all of the play apart from clear-cut chances. Kings Lynn have had 3 clear-cut chances to our 1. But we've had 64% of the possession. We've had 24 shots at this point. 13 of them have been on target. Grimshaw in goal for them seems to have been having quite a good game, despite conceding 3 goals. For our final change, we are going to take off Burke and we're going to bring Brown on. Although the assistant manager wanted Ekwa Olimbi, Ekwarimbi is always just going to be a defensive midfielder for me. I don't want to start messing around playing him in other positions. Right, this is the point where we don't mind seeing an Alfie Payne goal. Jim Gannon, the Kings Lynn manager, has obviously been watching the Bourne legacy, playing Clark on the right wing, where I play him for Bourne, even though I always played him as a right back or right wing back for Kings Lynn. See, thanks for watching, Jim. Well, there you go. We've just destroyed Kings Lynn, and I don't feel as good about it as I thought I would. I feel empty inside. They didn't put up any fight. But at least we got a comfortable victory. And hopefully, like I say, Barnsley aren't as good as they think. Well, Jim, you didn't put up any fight at all. So, to be fair, maybe you're not either. We need to carry that form over into this Fulham game now, though. Selection of changes then for the Fulham game as we go back to what I'm pretty sure is my first choice team. If this bunch of players bottles it, we go back to the Kings Lynn team again. But Brown comes in at right back for Burke, Chong for Chapman on the left-hand side, Beera in for Slattery, and Mowat in for McGinn, and of course Hornby back in for Brivio as well. So quite a lot of changes heading into a league game off the back of a decent result in the Cup. So let's get into our team talk then. I think part of the reason we've had a poor start to the season is we have played most of the good teams in this division early on, and they're beating us. We've had a horrible start to the season fixture-wise, but we need to get stuck into playing the likes of Sunderland, Bristol City. We already played Forest and managed to not beat them, but these are the teams we want to be playing, and we keep playing these teams, and understandably, they're beating us. I think it's becoming more and more clear that we are just a little mid-table team, which is fine. That's what the board want from us, but we need to make sure that through a run of dodgy results, this little mid-table team doesn't end up becoming a team that's in a relegation battle in October, because that's the kind of form that gets managers sacked. And I don't really want to be sacked. Chong in behind here. It falls to Hornby. He really should have tucked that away. Chong hit the post. He's playing as a winger today, which I don't think you've seen him do for us yet. So despite the fact I'm a big fan of inside forwards, with Brown and Chong in the side, we're actually playing with two wingers today. And there is Hornby. Told you he was in good form. A sixth goal of the season now for Fraser Hornby. Puts us 1-0 up after 8 minutes. He's doing a bit of a Mick Powell in training at the moment as well. I've had a couple of coach reports on Hornby come through talking about how much he's progressing as a player, and he really is getting better and better all the time. And that 3 million, was it 3 million? It might not have been a full 3 million. That's 2.6 million we spent on him last January is starting to look more and more like a bargain. And if we can get Brivio up to his kind of level as well, we might end up having to find a way to play a two-striker system, because Brivio has now scored in both the games he started for us, albeit one of them against League 2 opposition. But we might have two very good young English strikers on our hands here, which, I mean, that would be a lovely situation to be in. I can't remember the last time. When was the last time I did a two-striker system in non-League to Legend? What would we do? We'd have to go to a diamond of some kind, because I can't do a 4-4-2 because I'm Kev and I've sworn never to do it. So if 4-4-2's off the table, but we've got such good wingers. We've got too many good players. I've changed my tune in the space of 3 minutes of this match because of one goal. We've now got too many good players to be able to fit them all into the team at the same time, because that's how great we are. But we are 1-0 up at half-time against Fulham, which is excellent. We will maintain the underdogs message at half-time, because I think that's what did us so well last season after I arrived. We were the underdogs against everybody, and we just kept beating them. And I think the players enjoyed being plucky underdogs winning games. Brown's got it in the back of the net there. It is immediately disallowed for offside. I'm not really sure how he's offside, because it's bobbling around in the area quite a lot. But Brown's the one who played it there, unless Hornby's taken a touch there maybe. But it looked like it was just kind of pinballing around and was anybody's ball. So to be able to pick an offside out of that is quite an impressive skill on behalf of the assistant referee, man, lady, don't know what they are. Brown now trying to get the cross in, can't quite get past another non-League Legend veteran in the shape of Walker Peters, who I think we had at Ipswich a few years ago. Brown missing out again there, chasing shadows a little bit there. Brown with a yellow card is a little bit of a worry, and Fulham are in here, and Hilson makes a good stop. But we saw a couple of examples of some pretty ropey defending from Brown there at left back, and we have got Burke knocking around now to offer some proper competition at left back for him this year, which we didn't really have last year, despite having lots of left backs. I didn't like any of them, but I like both of these two. And if Brown's gonna flail around the way he was there, Burke's gonna get more and more game time ahead of him. Beera now with the free kick, plays it forward, looking for any one of the group of three quite tall attacking players that we had in the penalty area there. Misses all of them, and now Fulham have another counter-attack here. We need to be very careful, and we were maybe a little too careful. I was afraid of giving away a penalty, but in actual fact, they've just tucked it nicely into the far corner, and Hilson didn't really look like he was ever going to get anywhere near it. And this is worryingly starting to take on the shape of a lot of the games we've played so far this season, where I don't think we've looked really poor in any of these games that we've been losing, but we are finding ways not to win them regardless. And it is a little bit of a worry. Rimanota can come off once again. Brown can come off as well. We've got Chapman down there on the bench, and that gives the opportunity to actually play with two inside forwards, which is something we very rarely get to do. But Chong can go over to that right-hand side, and fingers crossed between him and Chapman can find a way to get us back ahead in this game, although Fulham are the ones attacking at the moment with a corner. And if they beat us here, that's 4 defeats in a row in the Championship. And that does start to look like really worrying form. And it's starting to signify tactical change time if we get down to that kind of level. We're down to 21st place at the moment. We need to find a way back into this game. Beera with the free kick. Sorry, it's onto the head of McGeehan, who heads it in dominantly to put us 2-1 back up again. That's a good sentence. With 15 minutes to go, it was Beera with the free kick. What a header from McGeehan. 2-1 to Barnsley. We've still got one substitute left to use, but that puts us all the way back up to 14th. It's a huge jump. I know it's early in the season. We shouldn't be that bothered by it, but I don't want the board to get all sacky on me. See, we've conceded again there. Scrappy. We should be better than that. But Fulham are a good side. Oh, I don't know. If we'd have not come into this in such poor form, I wouldn't have a problem with drawing away against Fulham. It is a good result in isolation, but we're not in isolation. Right, we are going to bring Burke on for Brown. I threatened it earlier in the game. I can smell a Fulham winner coming here, and it's going to be sickening. Right, Mowat. Come on, let's grab a winner from somewhere. Mowat, again, tries to play Chapman in. Here is Harry Chapman. He's clear. Chapman shoots just wide. Oh, he was in such a good position, but couldn't quite divert it goalwards. We're going to have 10 minutes of passion to finish off the match. Just to try and muster a goal from somewhere. Like I say, 2-2 away against Fulham. Good in isolation. What is not so good, though, is the fact that we're hovering around the relegation zone 6 games into this season. And I don't know how patient the board are going to be with me for it. 21st place. Let's have a look at the, not Club Info, Club Vision. Yeah, see, they're disappointed. We need to be keeping an eye on this. Where's match performance? I mean, they've given us an A- for that, so they're quite happy with that away draw. So actually, both of those matches have been good. It was these ones that weren't so great. Even the game against Wigan, we only got a C+4. So I think this gives some quite good context to things, actually. Yes, our league position is worrying, but you can't pick out any of these matches and say we were terrible in them. So I think we'll be okay. We'll be back tomorrow, somewhere around here, hopefully having picked up some results, and be a little bit more cheery. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.